Today we're going to talk Lego investing, and I'm going to give you 5 quick and easy tips that I think will help you if you're just getting started out as a beginner with Lego investing. If you stick around to the end, I'm also going to give you a 6th tip that I think will really help you out and give you a little extra knowledge. Let's get into the list. So I want to start by saying I've been doing Lego investing for about 3 years or so now. None of these tips that I'm about to give you are a guarantee of success, but I think they'll help you along the way. And that's my goal here, is really just to try to help you find a starting point and maybe avoid some of the pitfalls that I had kind of starting out with the Lego investing. I've been able to see some pretty good success. I'm actually still holding on to a lot of sets that I've really seen gone up in value quite a bit over the last few years. So hopefully you'll get something out of this that maybe will help a little bit. Tip number 1, you gotta have a passion for Lego. I'll give you my story, my background. So when I was a kid, I was into Lego, and after kind of getting into my teenage years and getting into some of my adult years, I kind of got out of Lego. When we had our first boy, Bruce, we started buying him a few sets and started to get back into Lego. Through building sets with Bruce, I started to rekindle some of the passion that I had as a kid for building Lego. Now, there was one day I was in Target and we were looking at, I believe it was Destiny's Bounty, and I realized from looking online and looking at the store that I could actually buy that set at a discounted price and sell it and make a profit. The only reason that interested me is because obviously if you're into Lego, you know that Lego is a fairly expensive hobby. It's up there as far as cost on hobbies. So this was a great way in my mind to help cover some of the costs of some of these larger sets that I was purchasing and start to cover some of the expenses of the hobby. So with that being said, I had a passion for Lego. I was building a lot of Lego, displaying it. I was in the community, involved with different pages, and my Lego investing kind of came as an offshoot of that. And I think if you're just getting in it to make a quick buck, you're gonna miss out on a lot of the tips and a lot of the knowledge in the industry, and you'll probably end up losing money on a lot of items that maybe if you had knowledge and you were involved with it already and you enjoyed the building process already, you'll actually have a lot of that additional knowledge and tips that you can use to actually purchase the right sets. So you've got to have passion for Lego, in my mind, before you get into investing. Number 2, look for Lego sets that you're going to get a deal on. You want to get sets that are discounted so that you've got just that much more room to make a profit on it. Typically, my rule of thumb is looking for right around 20 to 30% off sets. If they're more than that and it's a good set, absolutely grab it. But 20 to 30% is typically within reason, to where you have enough of a discount and some room to make a profit, plus the room that it's going to grow over time depending on how long you keep it. So look for 20 to 30%. Throughout the year, I may purchase a few sets here or there if there's a good gift with purchase, or there's just a set that I've been eyeing that I want to get a discount on. But most of my purchasing is done throughout the holiday season, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, just all through the Christmas holidays. There's all kinds of sets that are 20 to 30% off. At the same time, Lego is also typically retiring a lot of sets. So you want to keep an eye out during the holidays, save up some money for that time frame so that you can do some of your Lego investing during that time. That'll allow you to get some of those sets at a great deal, which then you can resell and get some profit on and help pay for your Lego hobby. Number 3, don't go into debt when purchasing Lego sets. It's just my opinion, but in my mind, it kind of defeats the purpose. You're buying the Lego set to try to keep it over time, gain a profit, and be able to pay for some of your Lego sets. If you're putting a lot of these Lego sets on credit cards, etc., paying heavy amounts of interest on these sets, and you're planning on keeping them for 1, 2, 3, in some cases 4 or 5 years, you're going to be paying interest all that time, and it really kind of defeats the purpose, because you probably will end up paying more interest than maybe what you actually made on the set. It may not happen that way in every case, but a better way to do it is start with smaller sets, invest in some smaller sets, make some quick sales on those smaller sets, and build up that kind of Lego investment bank account, if you will. And then when you've got enough money, you can start purchasing some of the bigger sets. But don't go into deep amounts of debt just to purchase sets and hold on to them for a few years. Number 4, we just touched on this a second ago, but I want to touch on it one more time. You don't want to buy sets the day that they come out as an investment item. You want to buy these sets when they're close to retirement. If you buy them at the beginning, when they're just coming out, you're going to have to end up holding them for 1, 2, in some cases 3 to 5 years, maybe longer. I know some of these sets are having some pretty long shelf life, but you don't want to have to hold on to them then, and then after they retire, now you're starting to see some value build on these sets. So you want to buy them as close to retirement as you can. It's not a perfect science. It's hard to sometimes gauge when it's going to retire and what the exact time frame is there. So if you feel like it's getting close, then maybe make the purchase so you don't miss out on it. But don't buy them so early in their lifespan and their shelf span that you end up holding them for a couple years, and then only after that are you starting to see some value build up. You want to have that money in the set for as short a period as time so that you can take it out and put it right back into something else, and you've got a good rotation of money going in and out of sets. Number 5, and this is a big one. You want to hold on to your sets for roughly 2 to 3 years is what I've found by just researching the market as to be around the best time frame. It's not a perfect science. Some sets you might get rid of earlier, some sets you might hold on for 5 years. However, you want to strike a balance between how much time do you keep your money tied up in that set and how much value are you going to let that continue to gain if it still has some momentum on the market. I've got a set, I think I purchased it in December of 2018. It was the Ninjago City set, and that retired in November 2018 or December 2018. That set I bought for $210 with a 30% off. That set on eBay is going for in the neighborhood of $800 to $1,000, and it's continuing to rise quickly. So that's just an example of one set that I'll hold on to for a while, and I won't get rid of it too soon because it's riding up in value pretty quickly. But again, you want to try to strike the balance there, and if you need to get rid of it sooner to take it and put it into something better, that money, then go ahead and do so. But roughly 2 to 3 years is your time frame there. The bonus tip. This is just something I personally do. So you're gonna find that when you're doing Lego investing, typically the smaller sets, you're not gonna get as large of a return on. The other thing with the smaller sets that I find is it takes a lot more work to ship 10 small sets versus ship one large set. There's less work involved, less boxes involved, shipping costs go down. So in my mind, there's advantages to going with bigger sets. However, there's a disadvantage of you have to put a lot more money into it up front, and that money gets tied up to where you're not gonna have that to maybe put into something else. So it is, whatever your situation is, you want to kind of mold your investing around that. So if you're only able to do small sets starting out, I absolutely encourage that. But if you have the money and you're able to do this with some of the bigger sets, like Ninjago City that I just mentioned, the Treehouse is probably going to retire here soon. Different larger sets that are in the $200 to $300 to $400 range. Those sets grow in value pretty heavily. Obviously it depends on what the branding is and what style. Is it a licensed set? So there are some other things that play into what set you want to invest in. But at the end of the day, I try to stick to the more expensive sets. They seem to gain value pretty quickly, and they're a little easier to manage after the fact. The only downfall to that can be like storage and things along those lines, which I won't get into today. But that's typically the route recommend if you have the financial means to do so. Go with the larger sets. So those are my tips for Lego beginners in investing. I hope it was helpful. Again, my goal here is just to try to give you some of the information that I've kind of learned over the last few years in investing. I hope it's helpful to you. Let me know if you'd like me to put out some more. There's a lot more that you can get into with this as far as like storage and what platforms to sell it on, how to sell, what you need to sell it, what the costs are involved. So there's a lot more that you could get into with this. I've done quite a bit of selling online with Lego. So if you'd like to see more, let me know. Comment below. Let me know if you've done any investing, if there's something in specifics that's maybe you've done that's worked. I'd love to hear that. But other than that, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time for another video. Later.